During the hot weather months, we see a lot of calls concerned about dogs being left either in cars and they're concerned it's too hot, or dogs that are left out in yards, no access to water. But if you are going to have the animal out with you, making sure that they have access to suitable shelter, which could be just as simple as shade, and then cool drinking water. Obviously, if water is warm, it's going to do the animal no good. The water has to also be clean and in copious amounts. So the animal has to have access to as much water as they want to drink. And then just not leaving them in an environment where they could be subjected to, the heat stroke, heat stress. So leave them at home. I mean, that's really the best thing if you're planning on shopping and you would normally take them with you in the cooler months. In the warmer months, I would say, no, absolutely, just leave them at home. So for dogs that are in a car, depending on how poorly the animal is doing, if it's in distress at that moment, certainly they could call the 911 number. If not, and they're just sort of standing around observing, then the police non-emergency number would be the best thing. The Good Samaritan law in Virginia, unfortunately, does not cover that type of scenario. So if a person were to try to break into a vehicle, then they subject themselves to civil liability. If they're available to wait to speak to an officer, make sure we have the right address. And if they're not available to speak in person, then certainly by phone, we like to get the whole picture of what we're dealing with. So as far as leaving your pet in a car, there's no specific law yet in Virginia or in Fairfax that says that act alone is illegal. So there are laws that we can use. Certainly there's a section in the law, in Virginia law, that covers things like exposing your animal to direct sunlight or direct heat or not providing water when it's needed, those types of things. There's also law that allow us to seize an animal if we feel it's necessary. Fairfax County does have an anti-tether ordinance. It's a little complicated. It's set within a 1-hour time limit. So as long as somebody is there and directly monitoring their animal, they can tether up to an hour. Beyond an hour, regardless of whether they're home or not, would then become a violation of law. But again, there's other specifics that could apply to tethering, based on the environment the animal's tethered in. Is it safe or not? Does the animal still have access to that shelter that I was speaking of, the water, and then how long the tether is. It has to be a certain length. It has to be 2 times the length of the animal's body in order for it to be considered a legal tether. So it's, like I said, it's sort of a complicated topic, but yes, it can be illegal based on circumstances. So again, if somebody's not sure, they should call.